Night, the city of Lagos waits a dog as all routes.
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV
24-hour news station.
Monday here in Lagos. Good morning to you, and thank you for finding time to join us on Cool Digest this beautiful day. Now, countdown to October, just one more day before a new month. Of course, it's the same countdown that is happening in EKITI as everyone there awaits the inauguration of a new governor. Of course, we have a governor-elect who won outstandingly in 16 local government areas of that state. EKITI State is known as the land of honor. The question on the lips of the people this morning is how honorable events emerging from that state in the past few days. Of course, from the beating up of a judge, tearing up of record books, slapping a judge, tearing up his suits, to what we now see as a total abnormal event unfolding in this land of honor. I'm going to play a clip for you, and unfortunately the two stakeholders in this event has been the incumbent governor in the name of Governor Kaude Fayemi and of course the governor-elect Ayodele Fayoshe. This is what they have to say as regards happenings in EKITI. I'll be back with you.
The dust raised by the violent crisis is still unsettled as many continue to count their losses. The two leading political figures in the state, Governor Kaude Fayemi and Governor-elect Ayo Fayoshe, however, chose to settle for the blame game. Fayemi in his submission wants Fayoshe held solely responsible for the disruption of peace in the state, an accusation Fayoshe described as a figment of Fayemi's imagination.
Ayo Fayoshe should be solely and primarily held responsible for what is happening in the state. This state has witnessed an unprecedented level of peace over the last 4 years.
I will continue to accord that office all the respect, and I will not want to join issues with him. So, but I don't want to join issues, like I said. He owns his mouth to run it if he wants to run it. You understand?
The blame game continues as what could pass for washing dirty linings rages on. The two leading political actors make reference to earlier disruptions of proceedings at the venue of the Election Petition Tribunal.
If you disagree with a ruling or a judgment, since you submitted yourself to the processes of the courts and you have allowed representation in the courts, you appeal the process. That's known.
The target is to make sure that the inauguration doesn't take place. That is the target. So having failed in the backdoor arrangements in the courts, they've resulted into self-help.
Not yet done with each other, Fayemi and Fayoshe also took up the integrity question.
You can tell that to the Marines that he was not there. He knew what happened. I know what happened. The chief judge knew what happened. All the people who were affected knew what happened. So, and everybody knows his antecedents.
If we have not been working hard to calm the flame now, this place will still have been burning. So for me, my duty is to ensure we have peace.
With few days to the October 16th handing over date, the sound bites from EKITI are already sounding like the drum beats of war. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado EKITI.
So who do we believe? They both sound convincing. One is saying it's the other, and then the blame game goes on. I spoke earlier with Rashid, our correspondent in EKITI on Saturday, who told us that there's relative peace in that part of the country. But of course, we heard a different news on Sunday morning, of course, of tension in that part of the country, attacked by a reprisal attack, so to speak. I'm joined now by Rashid. Good morning, Rashid. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Please,
And you?
I'm terrific too. Can you give us update on what is happening in EKITI? Of course, we heard about a reprisal attack.
So far, business activities is picking up. first statement from the police public relations officer later tonight that the police have a report, a security report of some scrupulous elements gathering together to foment more trouble, but that the police is on top of the matter and they are going to do everything possible to protect the fragile peace that is being experienced now. But for now, everyone is calm, everyone are going about their normal businesses, government institutions, corporate institutions, commercial activities are picked up, and everyone are just taking life as normal as it was before the unfortunate crisis.
But what exactly happened on Sunday, Rashid, in Ado-Ekiti?
Well, it's nothing much. You know, the fear in the people is that there's still going to be reprisal attacks. Since the death of Rafi Aderi, there have been a kind of fear, possible fear in the mind of the people, you know, since the death of Aderi is having so many kind of leads. Some would say it's because he's a leader of the drivers, some would say it's political. So all those institutions are like nursing some fear, and with that there is apart from the curfew, there is a heavy presence of security personnel, you know, much of the Nigerian army. So that also sent a kind of a signal to the people thinking there might have been something else. But all in all, it's just to forestall their peace and order.
Okay, are you saying that there are now members of the Nigerian army on the streets of Ado-Ekiti?
Yes, they are positioned in strategic locations and possible flashpoints.
What about the police?
Yes?
I said, what about the police, Rashid?
Yeah, the police are also on top of the matter. According to the statement released by the DPR, said they have the police have deployed plainclothes officers and also armed officers to bring no concerning of the state, and that is believed to be in order. But in Ado-Ekiti, which happens to be the state capital, there are also police setting up checkpoints.
It's all right.
To do stop and search for vehicles and even people.
Thank you very much, Rashid, for...
On ground.
It's all right. Thank you for joining us this morning and ensure to keep us up to date as the events unfold.
Yes, thank you.
I'm joined now in our live studios here in Lagos by Adeyemi Arumolaro, a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you. And thank you for finding time to join us.
It's my
Comrade Debo Adeniro is a chairman, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me start with you, Adeyemi. How honorable would you say the land of honor is at this time? What do you make of these events in the past few days?
Thank you very much. The events unfolding from EKITI in the past few months, let me put it, have not really given encouragement to the political activities, particularly in the southwest. And we can say they have positioned themselves vulnerable to the antics and the pranks of PDP, the conspiracy in the recent times. So the EKITI people, not only EKITI people, the surrounding states, the neighboring states, the Ondo, the Osun, and Edo should be much watchful, because I see PDP now becoming desperate to make sure that they get hold of EKITI and try to unleash their tentacles from their angles to other neighboring states they are not controlling.
Well, comrade, that seems to be the position of the opposition party, giving a political undertone to the events, you know. But I also want us to look at it from the other side. PDP won convincingly in Ekiti State, won in all the 16 local government councils. I mean, is it also sane to say that someone who won, or a party that won in all the 16 local governments, are now fomenting trouble? I mean, if they're in charge, why the trouble?
Well,
What's the logic behind that?
well, thank you very much. They are really not in trouble. They are just fomenting trouble. And the trouble they are fomenting is what is putting Ekiti State at the edge. If care is not taken, the whole of the democratic practice, you know, will be ditched into the precipice of cataclysm. To the extent that I don't care which parties in power. I don't care which party is waging the war. Yes, Ayodele Fayose was said to have won the election in all the 16 local governments of the state, and that means that he shouldn't have had anything to fear. But the truth again is that we have had it in these climes where a judge, a trial judge, allegedly dismissed 170 counts charge against a particular person who have to, voluntarily prove guilty to part of the charges for which he has been discharged. So we believe that the judiciary is pathetically corrupt also, and that might be the fear being nursed by the governor-elect, and might have led to his suspicion that if the judge was allowed to continue the way he was continuing, he might not allow the swearing in to happen. Okay. But that fear, well, it may be fear all the same, but the truth again is that he didn't need to desecrate the temple of justice the way his supporters, so to say, have desecrated the temple of justice on Monday and Wednesday, if I am correct. The truth is that if you put yourself forward to contest as a governor, you are saying that you are going to allow the three arms of the government to run their affairs without undue interference. Now, if you have seen ab initio that the judiciary may not be as fair as you had expected it, there are ways by which you will have put your case across. As a matter of fact, you could have gone to a court of higher jurisdiction to appeal whatever he observed was going on in the lower court. Or he could have done a petition to NJC, that is Nigeria National Judicial Council, you know, that this is what we did that in Delta State, that is CACOR, Coalition Against Corrupt Leader. We did that in Delta State when the trial against the former governor James Ibori was progressing, and the NJC queried the trial judge Masaya Kuleye at least 3 times before the case was finally dismissed after they claimed that our petition was frivolous. But all the same, since you are coming on the strength of a rule of law, you should have allowed the rule of law to hold sway. Then, since you have the baggage of being, unduly hard on arms of government, even during your first tenure, at least he would have pretended that he wanted to defer to the dictates of the rule of law.
All right.
When he was sworn in. But this kind of thing, he is not helping matter. His statement has not actually said that he didn't know, why his supporters had to attack judges, not just one, 2. They tore record books in the court and all that. That is a sacrilege against the rule of justice.
All right.
Okay?
I'll get back to you, but let us also look at the moral justification for what the APC did in EKITI. You recall that the incumbent governor, less than 24 hours after the result of that particular election was announced, came out publicly to congratulate the winner. Many of us here in the studio were celebrating that this was the first time in our Fifth Republic that we'll see such show of sportsmanship coming from a politician. Many have also questioned why APC and the incumbent governor turned back on that decision. Because if they didn't, we wouldn't go to court and possibly we won't be where we are now. How do you react to that?
Yes, thank you very much. You see, from my own perspective of that action, I would say it was a needed action to congratulate the opponents, and it does not imply that you may not still go through the procedure set up. In the first place, by congratulating the presumed winner, he doused the tension then. There was jubilation, there was calm, there was orderliness, and you could go further. The party now decided to go through they identified some misgivings, some lapses, and they decided to query those ones. And you see the same thing played out in Osun State, where the the PDP candidates refused to congratulate, to accept the results, but the party congratulated the winner. So it can happen like that. The essence is just to make sure that there is peace in the process, at least to calm the nerves of the general electorates and allow the peace to reign in the states. So it is a welcome development every time, which I think we should imbibe into our culture of democratic process, because by that singular action he was able to stem the tide of anarchy and vices that normally follows trails election results. So be that as it may, we give him the credit for that. But now question other activities. The question I want us to look at this very development is, has a Fayose accepted that his group committed sacrilege?
Yeah, no, but this is not the first time that supporters follow a candidate to court. As it is, there is no even standard rule.
There is
that
no
rules against
evidence,
that.
no documentary evidence yet, because that is the area of my own confusion. No documentary evidence that says, oh, it is Ayo Fayose's supporters that did this. The only thing we are holding on to is his own utterance, is his fears, which he expressed publicly, that they wanted to make sure they truncate the process of inauguration. If he hadn't made such a statement, then we will all be thrown into confusion. That what could have been? Could it be that the APC had foreknowledge of the outcome, or could it be PDP that did that?
Well, can the APC, comrade, be totally justified in this case? Because, of course, we're talking about the desecration of the Temple of Justice. But how do we now justify the killing of the NURTW chairman in EKITI, who happens to be a supporter of the PDP?
You see, the truth is that the way politics is played, in this part of the world is so weird, to the extent that when you support a candidate blindly, and if you know that that candidate is violent and can, commit certain crimes, he can use you as a pawn with a view to getting back to the opponent. It could also happen that it is the group that the guy was supporting that wreaked the havoc. Remember also the way transition, regime transition takes place within the road workers. They don't do real election. It's show of strength. Okay, now he could have offended so many. We also didn't know how he got to a position of power, that he was wielding. So it could happen that somebody already was, gunning for his life even before the electoral thing happened. So we cannot say it's either here or there. But the truth is that a life has lost. A life have been lost. Now, but the truth again is that if the violence, the orgy of violence that was unleashed on the state after the drama that happened in the law court didn't spill over to the town where Fayemi's campaign, headquarters was set ablaze and all that, there wouldn't have been opportunity for the murderer to have carried out their antics on the chairman of the road workers in that state. But all of this tells us that we need to stem the tide of violence, because we don't know who may become the victim, who the violence may claim at the end of the day. The fear that, of course, I listened to the chief press secretary to the governor-elect saying that people will not open their eyes and allow the mandate to be stolen away from them that the way they did it before. And that is why. And if you look at the photographs, maybe some footages, you find cordials, you have cutlasses, you even have guns, in the court premises. And the embodiment, that led to the supporters attacking a judge had never happened in the history, even as much as violence happened in the 80s in that part of the country. It didn't lead to people invading courts of law and beating up judges. It didn't happen that way. And if you also, where I have not got the audio of the judge approaching, I mean, that's Justice Adeyeye approaching the governor-elect to calm his supporters down, where some newspapers reported it that the governor-elect allegedly, slapped the judge.
Okay.
I have not listened to that, but if it did happen, that the judge had to come down from his Olympian height and came to appeal to a leader of these people, that claimed that he had that enormous support. He could have at least given that semblance of civility, to calm his followers down, not to go to the embarrassing extent of, tearing the courts apart. That is unacceptable. It is despicable and reprehensible.
How exactly, because we made mention of an NURTW chairman who was shot dead by unknown gunmen. But how would you describe this relationship between politicians and member of road transport workers? Because, in one of the clips too, you see one of them who happens to be with the APC and the other with the PDP, and oftentimes we hear these people being used as political thugs. Has that become a norm? Is this something that we have come to accept as a norm and practice in our politics in Nigeria?
Yes, you see the role of the various unions, particularly the unions of the road workers. They are becoming very, I would say, principal partners in the political activities. We have the violent aspect of the politics in Nigeria. So they have always been the one that takes the lead in that area. So you cannot, in Nigeria today, they play prominent role and they are always factionalized. And it's just because of the financial inducement that divides their ranks. And like the comrade rightly said, they don't undergo a democratic process in the selection of their leaders. What they do is the show of showmanship, how strengthful, how capable, how violent more you can be, that actually determines your position. And at every election, after election, there is always a violence, because money will have exchanged hands and there will have been internal crisis within their structure, which usually leads to attempts to change the leadership. So we may not be able to differentiate that one so much, separate it from the fact that within their own system and the last election they could have had in-house wrangling, which they capitalize on this very crisis to leech.
But the fact that these people are now being used as tools by politicians across board, what does it tell? I mean, across political boundaries, because there is no single political party as of today that can be absorbed of that.
Yes, it doesn't tell much. It is obvious in our political system. They have principal partners. Just like the INEC chairperson said, look, the parties make separate vote for inducement of the INEC buying of votes. So also they make separate budget for this to mobilize the thugs. And you see, it is the attitude of the leadership we have in the country. The policemen were there. They were doing nothing. They have the directives not to move against them.
Well, we can't confirm that now.
No, they were in the court. They were in the court. It was said.
No,
the policemen were there.
What the PPRO said was that there were certain appointed policemen in the courts, maybe about 3 or 4 of them. Now, they had to call for reinforcement. Before reinforcement got there, the trouble had already started.
Well, how long does it take them for them to reinforce? You see, these people came in. They didn't come in immediately and start fighting.
But you recall that when the commissioner of police eventually got there, with a higher number of men, the issue was brought under control.
No, what we're saying is at the inception, these thugs were there. They didn't come in immediately and start fighting. They were disturbing the peace in the environment. Then if the policemen were actually serious and knowing the magnitude of the case they had at hand on that day, they should have adequately mobilized themselves.
Comrade, why do you think that the police would have supported? Well, why would you think that the police would have supported the thugs in EKITI?
You see, what happened during the election itself suggested that the police, were other security agencies were drafted to that state, to do some hatchet job. It is not about, harassing people directly, but show of might, behind a particular candidate. But as long as they didn't unleash terror on people, I believe that, well, they have a job to do, except the army that had no business in, quelling internal strife or whatever. So they are supposed to stay in their barracks until if there's any orgy of violence that cannot be contained by the
like they're now seeing now.
But what we saw, what we saw, because there was a video clipping where we saw more than what the number of policemen you said are in the ordinarily were in the court premises. The number of policemen that were there and that were expected to act before to stem the violence and during the violence were many.
Is it possible that they were
so
overwhelmed?
They couldn't have been overwhelmed if they are proactive. Exactly. Because their own job includes intelligence gathering. Exactly. They ought to know that these people came to court premises with weapons of different description. So if they discover that early enough, and they have not proven that they didn't discover that these people went to the court premises with weapons. So if they even confirm that they didn't know, it means that they are incompetent, in policing and a kind of a community, a volatile community like that. So they ought to know that they came to the court with weapons, and that could have given them enough information that they needed reinforcement even before the violence started. And what they didn't want, well, it may be that what they wanted was that the judgment or maybe the ruling should not be delivered, so that they suspected might not be in their favor. As a matter of fact, the governor-elect and his supporters have, considered that the adjudication should go on. Okay. So if they didn't do that initially, we will not be saying that, okay, maybe there is a plan to rule them out of order before the swearing-in ceremony.
For the swearing-in. Well, let me read an excerpt for you from what the publicity secretary of the PDP in EKITI, Kolawole Oluwawole, is saying. He says, and I quote, "We have it on good authority that the APC has commissioned thugs coming in 4 18-seater buses to EKITI. They were said to have left Lagos around 11 p.m. on Saturday. They were armed with acid, cutlasses, guns, sledgehammer, and syringes, and all that dangerous weapons." And it goes on and on like that. He now says, "These thugs will appear in PDP vests and caps to execute their dastardly act within 1 month." Now, why is violence still very much relevant in our politics in Nigeria?
Well, the truth is that it's only those that feel insecure, that engage in violence to get, what they think they deserve. I'm not sure that any party needed to hire thugs from Lagos, to do that kind of thing, because it is easily detectable. Okay, if they have to move in convoy of buses, to EKITI State. But you have a pool where you can draw, and that is the National Union of Road Transport Workers, where you have all the miscreants, you can describe in this word. That is the place where they can hide, even jobless ones, even the criminal-minded ones and all of that. Even when you catch armed robbers, they say that they are drivers or drivers' mates or whatever, or transport workers and the rest of that. So they didn't need to do that. But if they did, then the onus lie on the group that alleged to prove it. They needed, or they could have recorded them, okay? But that is the game plan between political parties. Okay, even APC have once accused, PDP of doing the same thing. That is just their stock and trade. But what we are saying is that if the police, if the intelligence apparatus have been very effective, those that are arming themselves into the buses and holding themselves into the buses won't get anywhere outside Lagos before they
Just
are
a minute.
apprehended.
We have a caller from EKITI. Good morning, Sheyi. How are you today?
I'm fine. Hello?
Good morning. Go ahead with the contribution, please.
It's so unfortunate that the two gentlemen I'm seeing on the screen here appear to be an agent of APC. Are you with me?
I'm with you. Go ahead, please.
It's so unfortunate that two gentlemen sitting here appear to be agents of APC. None of them have been able to point out anything wrong about Fayemi-led administration. As a matter of fact, there have been confirmed facts that Fayemi instituted all this violence in order to stop the inauguration of the governors-elect. And all this thing is actually happened because they do not want this man to be sworn in. So let them just exercise some patience. Let the day come first. Then let us see what will happen after the inauguration. There is no need for importing stocks from neighboring states. There is no need for buying clothes of PDP for agents from other states. So
hello, Sheyi. Just a minute, Sheyi.
Out the fact that is happening in APC, not supporting APC, not the army. Let them speak the fact.
It's all right, Sheyi. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you confirm if Fayemi men beat the judge up in court?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello?
I'm asking if you can confirm if Fayemi beat up the judge in the court, in the high court in EKITI. I mean, the Fayemi supporters.
You want to know if Fayemi actually beat up a judge in the court, right?
I'm talking about Fayemi supporters. Who were those people that caused the rancor in the court premises in EKITI?
Yes. Those people that went to court actually happened to be Fayemi supporters.
Okay.
Okay? And they went there to court not on the instruction of the governors-elect, but they only went there on the suspicion that Fayemi is actually planning and has collaborated with the judges to make sure that the inauguration does not take place. As a matter of fact, the judges have been compromised. That is why people went there to destroy what was up that day. But it was not on the instruction of the governors-elect.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Sheyi, for your contribution. Good to hear from you. I think also that possibly, let me come to you now, Adeyemi, that the judiciary too might also have a big role to play in all of this. Fayose is coming back 8 years after he left office, and all the cases about him are still hanging. But what reason do you think EKITI people would have not to believe in the judiciary, the same judiciary that brought Fayemi to power?
You see, let us be frank with ourselves. If we have to be truthful, let us be. Sheyi has misconcepted and misunderstood our position. For the mere fact that they have suspicion of what the outcome of the court, the verdict was likely to be, does not give them any moral justification to go and disrupt the peace and desecrate that temple of justice. There are provisions for anybody or group. If you are dissatisfied with the submission with the verdict of a court, there are higher courts that you can take your case to. So whatever the EKITI people, whether they were there on the instruction of Fayose or not, whatever they have done there was wrong. They should have waited for the verdict to be delivered, and whatever misgivings that the group they go to higher court and appeal their case.
It's all right. This is between respect for justice,
yes,
and the fear of the people that their mandate is about to be stolen. Which one do you think is more of a reason why what happened in EKITI happened?
You see, I don't know why Sheyi concluded the way he did. What we are saying is that everybody should submit him or herself to the rule of law. and everybody should see themselves as being equal before the law. If you have a good case, you don't need thuggery. You don't need to bribe a judge. Even if you bribe a judge may not be able to adjudicate successfully in your favor if you have a bad case. Now, if it is not Fayemi that went to court, I'm not sure he is a member of E11 that went to court. Fayemi didn't, I mean, you mentioned it.
Well, obviously,
He
the E11 is a pro-Fayemi group.
Well,
it's
of course.
APC
No,
group.
no. Look, people have the right to decide which side of divide they want to belong. Okay? And they have the right not to be satisfied with the verdict, even as claimed at the polls, if they have enough evidence and witnesses that can make their case gel within the court premises. The civilized thing to do, the most civilized thing to do, is to approach the court of law instead of approaching the court of disorganized people. What is happening, working out in Ekiti State now, is that people have lost, some people inside must have lost their faith in the court of law. They now went the other way and now want to unleash violence, what they cannot obtain within the court of law.
Bear in mind that it's the same rule of law that
brought in
that even impeached Fayose. It's the same rule of law from the House of Assembly.
There are so many
that many people believe illegally impeached Fayose in the first place. And Fayose was also quoted to have said that if you thought that Segun Oni, that you want to impeach again, that I'm not going to be as easy.
Those are the things that Seyi should listen to and defend, because even the CPS to the governor-elect mentioned it this morning that nobody should expect Fayose's supporters to, open their eyes while the mandate they gave to Fayose slipped through his hand through the law courts. I tell people that is a statement that is condemnable, because it is not by violence. You claim here you didn't obtain the mandate through violence. If you have the support of the people, despite all said and done, you will still have your evidence, the ballot papers, intact. You still have the same people to say that, look, even if you want to hold the election 1,000 times, we are going to vote for you 1,000 times. So if you are a true winner, the way Fayose is carrying himself, he will not have anything to fear.
It's all right.
I'm not in support of Kayode Fayemi in this case, to the extent that he has admitted that he lost that election, even that. I don't care, bloody care about what somebody was saying is to stem the tide of violence. If he actually was cheated out of power, he will see it. He's the chief security officer of that state. So he knew what was happening. And that is why I told the APC elements that, look, you don't need to go to court. The man at the center of the East
already congratulated.
But the truth is that the mandate is for the party. That is the argument of APC,
it's all right.
not for the governor.
We have to round up this session now. Way forward, because many people are of the opinion that one of the major challenges of development in Nigeria is lack of continuity, from one administration to the other. This is a transition period. How do we ensure a smooth transition for the sake of the people of Ekiti State?
Yes, thank you very much for that. You see, look at what is happening. In matter of days, I expect everything to be under control, the situation to be under control. Not just because people have resorted to believe that it is well, but by way of stampeding people to accept faith. The kind of government we have in Nigeria at all the tiers of government hands, they are not really making people happy. But by force, by use of force and inducement, they take control. So in Ekiti, I'm very confident that in matter of this, the usual use of force and inducement will prevail, and people will be forced to accept.
It's all right. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll discuss a more national issue, the controversies shrouding the sole candidacy of Mr. President, especially for the People's Democratic Party. And when we come back to, we'll open the phone lines for you to contribute. Don't go away.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
Give me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly, and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on Core TV News.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thanks for joining us again. It's Core Digest Monday edition, exclusive only to Core TV News here in Lagos. I still have my panel with me, Adeyemi Arumolaro, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for staying the course on the show. And Comrade Debo Adeniro, Chairman, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders. Thank you very much. There's a lot of outcry now as regards the sole candidacy coming from NEC, the National Working Committee of the PDP, the Governors Forum are saying, well, just, in fact, a particular group came up recently and was asking every other political parties to adopt Mr. President as their candidate. But shouldn't that be a PDP affair? Because many are also linking this to dictatorship, so to speak. Some are already calling Jonathan Abacha for wanting to remain in power. Yeah, if a party, for instance, if all the stakeholders in PDP decide to go for Jonathan, should this be an issue of controversy, especially for people outside the party?
You see, it's not new in Nigeria. That is the role of money, the inducing factor. We have had it. It's not new. Abacha did it. It's not a matter of dictatorship. It's a matter of how much you have to give out. So what is happening in Nigeria is the height of corruption that we are in. And we will only, our saving grace is in the hands of our the international communities to come to our rescue. Because
how do you mean?
Yes, that is the truth. Look at the case of $1 billion that they are getting at this point in time. Look at the case of the 9.3 million pounds dollars found, and we are saying we want to go and get another $1 billion. We all know what it is. Our petrol resources returns are not accounted for. What are we saying? People, it is being rumored, once you are able to cross from one party to PDP, you get $50,000 as a member, and you have your clouds to come with you.
Can you confirm that?
No, you see, we say rumors.
Like I said, that Adeyemi Aromola is confirmed.
No, we say rumors has it.
Okay.
You see, what we are saying is, I'm trying to justify this claim that it is not a matter of dictatorship. It is the play of money in our politics. It's not the Jonathan is not a dictator. Let's get it. He's not a dictator.
Okay.
He used the resources to play his game.
The sole candidacy that has been pushed forward now, does it in any way automatically cancel the potentials of a primary election in the future?
Well, first and foremost, the other time you talk about continuity. Of course, if democracy works in Nigeria, I don't expect blind continuity to, because political parties are supposed to be governed by certain ideology. Okay. If the ideological differences, are apparent, definitely the projects that is being executed by the previous government may be diametrically opposite to the ones that will be executed by the incoming one. The only thing is that we will appeal to them not to allow resources of the states to go down the drain. So a use must be found for whatever error the previous government has made in executing maybe white elephant projects and the rest of them. Then when you talk about sole candidacy and all that, I really don't have problem with that, because if I'm not, I've just told somebody now who said that we ought to have gone to town with this. I said, unless you are in our coalition and you participated in our meeting, you will have the moral authority to suggest it, because we are not funded from the public coffers. Now, political parties are no longer funded from public coffers. But the truth again is that if they don't imbibe the standard democratic practice within their parties, they are not likely to be able to do the same in the larger society. That is why we have to be on the watch out that are they following the standard democratic practice within their party. If they don't, they cannot give what they don't have. Two is that even if you are going to put forward a sole candidate the way Abacha tried to force himself on us, Babangida also tried it, he failed, where he banned all the political parties because they failed to have done. 23 political parties were banned, and several candidates were disallowed from contesting because they had the military powers. Now, the only problem I have is that the electoral law ask every political party, even if you are going to vote for one candidate, to go through primaries. Okay, let the members of that political party adopt that person by their votes. People have the right to abstain. People have the right to say that, no, I disagree with that. But just let them adopt him from what you call a primary election. That would have been seen to follow the process of democratic and standard democratic practice. So if they now come back and say that this is our sole candidate, it could have been due to what my friend said, inducement. Well, if they allow themselves to be induced...
Just hold your thoughts for a minute, comrade. We have a caller from Imo State, Chuku Owakama. Good morning. Hello, are you there?
Hello?
Please go ahead with your contribution.
I'm calling from Imo State.
Go ahead with the contribution, Chuku.
Hello? I'm calling from Imo State. What I really want to talk. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm very, very embarrassed with the type of people you people come to talk in the television. They are really embarrassing. I don't like sometimes you people invite those who are called party supporters like APC to come to their law or to come to talk issues they don't know. They are talking I'm very surprised. You're trying to be very political. If you want to call people to come to talk, they should be fair and don't those who come to try any issue. I was looking for what I was happening to take to work with anything on this. Please, you are embarrassing. If you're embarrassing because to forget them. If you
I'm afraid, I could hear the word embarrassing.
I expected him to raise issues that he wants us to address differently. Because we cannot say because we want to appear to be neutral, to see the truth, to see white and we call it black, like I said in my opening, that I don't care which party. I've never been affiliated to any political party. But if you are operating brigandage under the guise of exercising your freedom, you know, under a democratic dispensation, we should be able to tell you that you are affiliated to a political party doesn't mean that we should not say the truth. Even in Anambra State, we also made our views known when election was going on there, and people that were coming to Anambra were stopped in Imo State because they suspected that they were in support of a certain political party. We said it wasn't a good democratic practice. You have to allow the freedom, people to enjoy their freedom of movement. If they have committed any other crime, beside the suspicion that they are coming to support a particular candidate, then you bring it out, and the police have the prosecutorial powers to bring them to justice, rather than just insinuating or just lay claim to, fake claim that they are likely to be in that state to support a particular political party.
Chiku, will appreciate if you can call back and identify what my guests on the show are actually...
You want us to address?
What exactly you have
Are we to say that it is good?
On the show this
are we to say
Monday?
that it's good for people to bring thugs to court of law? Are we to say that it is good as the court record was torn? Are we to say that it is good that people burn houses? We have condemned the killing of the chairman of National Road Workers and all that. We have done that.
We'll get there.
So we cannot support
quickly
by any standard.
when we talk about primary elections in Nigeria, from history, wouldn't you say that PDP has even done better? We've seen televised primary election. Of course, many have said it was state managed or so, but APC as an opposition party hasn't shown us any primary election, so to speak. We saw President Goodluck Jonathan. Of course, there was a primary election that involved him and the former Vice President Atiku.
Yeah.
There was even one that involved a woman who had a singular vote. It was televised live.
Yes.
Don't you think that the opposition party should take a cue from that?
You see, what happened is, let us get it straight. PDP is well organized, because it cut across the states, the length and breadth of the nation. So be that as it may, even now I still expect PDP to organize primary election. They will still organize it because of the style they have, the structure they have. They will still organize it, even if President Jonathan is still
they have bypassed that already, because the adoption of Jonathan.
It does not imply they will not.
The son of Tafawa Balewa already came out to challenge that decision.
Yes,
no, they will still organize it. They will still. They are trying to put their houses in order. They have sent emissary to Lamido, the governor of Jigawa, that has a different view among the governors. They are trying to pacify him, make him citizens. And after that, from what we have, they will organize it because they have their structure, they have their antecedents, they have their tradition. But if you look at APC, APC is just coming on board now. It was formerly this party, ACN. Now, and ACN was far behind. We can't compare ACN with APC. APC is just coming on board. And if APC, the way they are coming up, we will also expect them to have their primary. So in terms of what you said, in terms of their ability to organize primary election, then we can give it to PDP. And like I said, they have a structure. They have a better outlook.
As it is now, comrade, can you identify the difference that exists between these political parties? Because APC, for instance, is a coalition of the ACN, the ANP,
CPC,
and CPC.
Exactly.
Even the presidential candidates. Of course, we had the former vice president who just declared under the umbrella of the APC.
That's true.
He used to be with the PDP.
Exactly.
The 5 governors that left the PDP to the APC. What difference do you see that exists for electorates in 2015 between these parties?
Thank you. There is no significant difference. Because none of the parties is governed by any ideology. And that is why I said that if political parties have adopted different ideologies, you won't expect, direct, blind continuity when a baton change hands. Now, the only problem, and people will accuse me of supporting or of not supporting PDP, is that I see that party has been ruling, the same party has been ruling us since 1999 up to the present time. And instead of us moving forward, we are speeding backwards. Things that used to be good before are going bad. And from bad, they're moving to worse situation.
Not many people will quite agree with you.
Because
there are other President Goodluck Jonathan, for instance, have started rolling out, the achievements.
Yes.
The PDP also said they will be doing a national tour.
Let me tell you.
Privatization,
the road that led to
this
your place, it used to be better than that. Is degenerating, and if you move to some other routes, now if you can reel out so many things. Now we sell our 200 million barrels of oil per day at an average of $100 dollars, and when you multiply that, you know what it comes to. It didn't used to be like that. Now we sell solid minerals also, and in those days, you know that farmers were able to make profits on their own effort. Yes, Akenyugumi will tell you that it's rejuvenating cocoa industry, and the rest of them, Grandnot Pyramid, are coming back and all. That is a promise. But I'm not talking about the present regime. I'm talking about the same party ruling us since 1999.
It's the same question I'm asking you, because the same people that have been in power since 1999 are the same people who have left the PDP to the APC.
So that is what I'm saying. What I'm now saying is that if you look at the spectrum of those that have been arrested for corruption, they belong to the same party. If you look at the spectrum of those that have been arrested and prosecuted for murder and all those heinous crimes, they belong to the same party. And when you look at this, the kind of people they put forward to contest election, even in states, those are the people who have records of being, using thuggery and the rest of them to achieve their end. And those who have threatened that they can let they can let the heavens cave down, let heaven lose if they don't make it. So these are the kind of thing we have been having under the same party. That is the only area that I now said that, okay, if you look critically at the way they operate, one, it is not about being APC. Several other political parties are more, they show more civility. They are the receiving end. Many of these political parties are the receiving end. And those that are moving out, many of them, you cannot say, if they have records of, criminal records, we say that they will be promptly prosecuted and be brought to justice. But even those that have been brought to justice, they are given slap on the wrist, punishment. And all of these people also are affiliates of the same political party. And those who have committed transborder crimes like bribe, alibotin, Siemens, and the rest of them, and recently the transportation of $9.3 million to South Africa for purchase of arms through the back door, are affiliates, supporters of the same political party. So instead of them making us proud, they are ditching us into the abyss of disgrace, all over the world. This is my own grouse with that party. If whatever anybody want to say, I have all of this until they prove me wrong.
It's all right.
Okay, I will not stop saying that. That is a nest of whatever solution you can call them.
It's all right. Let me just hold you for a while. Adeyemi, do you think that the way our political parties are structured now in Nigeria, they are potent enough to give quality choices for Nigerians to pick from come 2015?
You see, the structure of political parties and their attributes in Nigeria is not encouraging, is not hopeful. We play politics of...
Let me hold you for a while. We have a caller from Abuja. Good morning, Abdul. How are you today? Good morning, Abdul. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, OTV. My stake is on... Hello?
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, my stake is on the state of the nation. the presidential, what do you call it, candidacy, they are adoption by the PDP. You know, like what the guy said there, the family. So the PDP as a party has failed Nigeria for the past 15 years. They have been in power. You see, when people talk, you look at antecedents. So when we talk about people say like the Anchorman, they were talking about the APC, that most of the guys here are from the same PDP. But I differ on that your submission, because if you see the leadership of APC, most of them are from the opposition. If you look at the leadership of APC. So I'm urging Nigeria to give APC a chance. Let's see what it can do. Because if you give a guy to a child that goes up to 15, 16 years and he knows he cannot even know his right from his left from the right, that tells you that there is a lot to read. So I think PDP as a party have really failed us. So 2015, I'm urging Nigeria to give a chance to give APC.
It's all right. Thank you, Abdul, because I have to also tell you that campaign doesn't start until about 9 months to the election. But Adeyebi, we're talking about
yes.
how equipped these parties are.
Can we really, Nigerians really rely on the political parties we have? Because of the kind of people we Nigerians have, the political parties, we made them what they are, and they are not giving us what we actually needed. We are playing more of money politics. We are not playing politics of orientation, ideologies. And as long as we continue in this money politics business, we don't expect good dividend from the political parties and as well Nigeria to be moved forward. So what we expect from the political parties is right orientation. And the leadership of the country will play a vital role to make sure that they play less emphasis on monetization of political activities. If that is not done, that is why we are critical. Most of us are critical about the timing of this $1 billion. It's not a good time. If you look at it, go back to the states, even at state levels, this is the time the state government will want to pick on millions, billions of dollars bond just to prosecute political
Is it
activities.
not the right time also to fight terrorism to an halt in Nigeria?
We have the money.
Should we have to wait after election?
No, we have the funds. We have the funds in the country to fight this terrorism. It is just a matter of releasing the funds to the right. I mean, to appropriate the funds rightly to be able to fight the terrorism.
It's all right. 2015 is just around the corner, and then it's another exciting election year for Nigerians to decide. And, you know, considering the number of parties that we have, INEC is already talking about additional, of course, we heard about the 30,000 additional polling units, but now we're also talking about additional political parties. What are your thoughts?
The registration of parties.
Because, you know, you recall the deregistration that took place, you know, some times ago, and now we're talking about a possibility of adding political parties. I want you to, you know, react to this based on the fact that there are only about 2 or 3 prominent parties after all in Nigeria.
That is because of what he said, monetization of politics. And the truth is that everybody should be allowed to enjoy their freedom of association. You know, except that this association is not governed by any particular ideology that is different from other political parties. Because when you look at it, the ruling party is only interested in power and all those things that are accrued to those that are wielding in power. And that is why they want to do anything, just anything under the heaven to get to position of power. Now, all other political parties, they are just struggling to exist because the powerful ones have overwhelmed them with power of
Let me hold you for a while. So, I have a caller from EKITI. Just a minute, comrade. Okay. Hello, Bumi.
Hello.
Good morning, Bumi. How are you today? Go ahead with your contribution, please.
I'm fine. How are you over there? I just want to make comments concerning what...
Go ahead, please.
People from Ado, I want to react to what she said.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. You know, it's just unfortunate that people will not like to stand by the truth. You understand? You know, when at the beginning, when they want to pick a Fayose, everybody knows that Fayose is not the right person to pick. So it's like postponing one evil day by picking Fayose. Okay? They know that the man was indicted before. And they know that those people in the opposition party, they will fight him to the core. Okay? So they know that the fire said that they want it by fire by force, someone that can remove the...
No. I'm afraid we lost that call. Thank you, Bumi, for your contribution. But of course, PDP already chose Fayose. Elections already took place. He already won the 16 local government areas. He'll no doubt, hopefully, will be inaugurated and sworn in by October. That's not an issue I think we should discuss now.
The thing is that they could have chosen him in error. Okay? Not having adequate information about his antecedents and what is hanging on his neck. And I also blame the opposition for waiting that length of time, thinking that because of the criminal, charges on him, he has a case with EFCC. There's no doubt.
Because of time, let me quickly take you back to the additional political parties that we were talking about.
Yeah, so the additional political parties are legitimate. It's only that those who have monetized, politics will not allow those who don't have enormous resources or access, unfettered access to state coffers to rear their heads. And that is why I told people that you don't just set up political party for political party's sake. And that is why I also went against, I kicked against, proscribing or a prescription of political parties, because they have the right to continue to associate and exist, even if they are going to remain as pressure groups, because it is evident that unless you have enormous resources and you cannot within the short period of 4 years gather enough people behind you to the extent that you can win election. What the bigger political parties are doing is to buy votes, not to convince people about their programs, on their manifestos and projects they want to execute. No, people are not convinced. But because they don't have any other choice, the choice they have are just mobilizing people. If you want to morally mobilize people, not to induce them with naira and kobo, it's not going to be a job you can do within 4 or even 8 years. They should allow these political parties to continue to exist, even if they don't win elections today. They may be the topmost political parties the next moment.
Given the obvious significance and relevance of these political parties, some have also clamored for a 2 or 3 party system, and they believe that that will help to define these parties along ideology lines. How do you react to that?
Yes, that's where I'm coming. I share a bit of a different view from the comments perception on the registration of additional political parties. I would have loved a situation where we look at what Sanusi, is it Sanusi or the new, I think Sanusi did the new, in the banking sector. We have regional bank and we have the national banks. So we should do the same thing at political party levels. There are some political parties, if we are going to say for sake of the freedom of association, there are some parties that should be registered just for regional participation. When it comes to national, then we should streamline, because we know that, you see, it affects the activities of INEC, printing of ballot papers. Some political party will not feature when it comes to national election on the ballot papers. So those ones, they are wasting INEC resources. So I believe we should have them in that category. We are at a regional level, we have some political party registered within the restriction of their region and those one. But at the same time, I share the view of streamlining our political parties to 2 or 3, so that it will be able to foster us together because of our diversities. Our diversity is getting widened every day. But the only way we can, if we must continue to exist as a nation, as one Nigeria, then we should streamline our political parties to 2, which will, if you can remember, the SDP and the NRC. Everybody
That was done by military and
yes.
force on us.
It was forced on us.
So it wasn't successful.
No, whether we like it or not, a lot of us queue behind either we belong to either of the two, and it forced and gave us a good result.
They died.
But will it help defining ideologies or not?
Which it did.
Which
the
definition of ideology.
Because you see, you don't have just two ideologies. Political parties can run on different. You can even evolve a new ideology that will govern, the kind of government you want to put in place. Okay. But you needed time to educate people about the ideology that you are bringing to bear on the people. So basically, you don't just get yourself streamlined into two divide like SDP, NRC. What did Babangida mean? He killed all the political parties that were formed by the people and banned their leaders just because he wanted to pave way for his own candidate. He was in favor of MK Abiola. He brought a TOFA that was relatively unknown to the people. So he knew that a little to the right cannot go any inch further because he knew that Nigerian people are looking for good lease of life, good education, good healthcare delivery and all that. But when you say something is ultra right, then you are not likely to win an election in the first place. So he knew that. He planned for Abiola to win, only to sabotage him at the end of the day. And that is why some of us who are saying that for 40 million people to come out, it means that they disagree with the two political parties because it's the parties that is supposed to form government, not government forming political parties for people. And that is why the experiment didn't gel. It died on
you see the kind of people that we have.
Let me just have your final thought on this issue because we have to round up now.
You see, the kind of people that we have, we are not adequately enlightened in political and democratic processes yet. All we still believe is what is our personal gain. Okay. And on that premise, I still believe strongly that if we can narrow down our number of political parties,
then we won't have that opportunity to learn of other, ideologies and the rest of them. Because people will just continue to think that it's either you are in PDP or you are in APC, and both of them are operating under the same.
But there's a possibility that if we have two political parties, obviously they are going to be
they will not. There will be good competition. The competition will be good competition. How much naira and kobo you have, and that is what is actually paying.
No, eventually ideology will emerge.
So ideology will not emerge under this system. As a matter of fact, Nigeria is moving toward a one-party state because the differences between the two are too narrow. I mean, are too narrow that you can always, blend them together and you say there's no difference.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm sure that our caller Sheyi from EKITI will finally be happy that both of you disagreed on that. On an issue of the show today. Adeyemi Arobolaro, thank you for coming. Comrade Debo Adeniro, it's good to have you on the show this Monday. Call Digest continues tomorrow, 9:30 to 11 o'clock. Do join us again, exclusive to Core TV News. I'm Nifebi Oguntoye. Don't miss the top of the hour news.
Nigerians continue to
travel the city of Lagos.
There is still a one level
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News.
Welcome to Core TV.
24-hour news station. You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV. Leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.